Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to be here. I've got a special guest today. Anna, how do you pronounce your last name so I don't say it?
Lozano.
Lozano. I've said it different times, but I'm like, I want to make sure I say it correctly.
I thought we're friends.
I know, we are friends, but
joking.
you know, like I have people still say to me, they're like, is it Tara or Tara? And I was like, whatever you need to say is perfect. It's perfect. And so Anna and I, we got to know each other. Well, we've been Facebook friends for a little while now, and we finally got to meet in person. Was it last fall? I think
How long have you been here?
This is our third year. Anna, this is your second year.
Second school year, yeah.
Second school year. And so we were so excited to finally be able to meet in person. So I remember there was like all this like excitement. We were like, we're going to get to see each other. And then we met over at Jenny's.
Yes.
And there's such a soul sisterhood with Anna. And one of the things that drew me to your work actually was the Love Co cards.
Yes.
So many of you are familiar with the Love Co cards. Anna was the creator, co-founder, right?
Co-founder.
Yes,
yeah.
Co-founder of these cards. And they were beautiful. Like they're so beautiful. And then you sold the company.
Yes.
And I didn't know that she'd sold the company. I just knew about these cards and I just loved them so, so much. And so I was so excited to connect with you because you are such a powerhouse, for one. Incredible business, entrepreneurial spirit. So many beautiful ideas. We've had incredible conversations about business. And she's such a soulful mama too. She loves the Waldorf philosophy, which we adore. She loves spirituality and meditation. She loves energy healing. Like all the things you know that we talk about here is what you live. And so I love Anna so much, and I'm so excited to have her here for this conversation because we're going to dive into intuition, energetics in business and life, making powerful decisions, really leading with your higher truth, because it takes something to move from, for you guys, BC.
Yeah.
That's where you guys were in Kelowna.
Yeah.
For us, Ontario, down to Mexico, and create this life, not really out of nothing, but kind of out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so I would
Following the spark, the intuition.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. And so we're going to have a very intuitively flowing conversation today about all the things. But before we do that, Anna, I would love for you to officially introduce yourself to everybody.
I had to ask Tara, am I looking there or there? So
yeah, we're going back and forth.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. So wonderful to connect live and be here with all of you. So I'm Anna Lozano. As Tara mentioned, we're here in Mexico now exploring this, what I like to call redefining luxury barefoot and what that looks like.
We're both bare feet right now.
Barefoot right now. I love it. And there was a calling and for you too. And we just talked about this before we arrived. Like, I don't yet know why. Why are we here? Why did we land here? Why is my family here? And that'll continue to unravel itself and show itself. But it was that leap in faith and that trust. And so many of us have gathered in this part of the world, and I trust in divine timing, and it's for a reason. And so
100%.
What was the question? Introduce myself.
But it's such a good kickoff point. I'm like, I'm going to make a note because I want to continue this conversation because I think there's a lot of people that want to live a really beautiful outside of the box life. So I'm going to make notes so we can come back to that.
So I've been an entrepreneur for, almost 15 years. This April is 15 years. I did the traditional thing that most immigrant families do. I studied really hard. I got great grades. I went to the Ivy School of Business, and I entered the corporate world in 2008. And I was like, whoa, this is not for me. What am I doing here? I was sold this dream that was not my dream. Yeah. And so I really surrendered. That was, I didn't call it surrender at that time, but that first moment of, okay, what am I here for? What is my purpose? What am I meant for? And actually, network marketing came knocking on the door, which I did not know the industry because I was so corporate focused at that time. And I jumped in and I realized I love entrepreneurship. I'm actually a really good entrepreneur, scaled that business to the top of the company in 4.5 years. And I was like, okay, this is my path. And when Maya was born, I had been on a personal growth journey through network marketing. Really, it is a gateway into entrepreneurship,
you.
personal development. And I decided that I wanted to create something of my own.
Yeah.
And I aligned with a business partner, and we co-founded Love Powered Co., which we launched in 2017. We scaled that over 6 years and then had a successful exit 2 years ago. And then I began coaching women who also wanted to launch their own businesses and bring their gifts to the world.
And she is a powerhouse. So I was seeing all the posts. And I mean, we've always had like really cool conversations, whether we're in the car going to Groove or wherever, right? Like we'd always have these really fun conversations. And I said to Anna, this was back in the fall, and I said, you know, when you just need to sit down with someone and you just need clarity, you need someone to reflect back to you, but you also need somebody not only great with strategy, great with ideas, great with being able to take everything that you want to create and go, okay, here's the path, like here's the simplicity, but something that you're really great at is holding the energy. And I know energy. You guys know I know energy. And she was able to hold the energy so powerfully that, remember, in those 2 days, starting with, like, we sat down and Anna opened up the space and we sat down, we talked about business. In those 2 days, we had, I would call, magic money.
Yeah. You kept like messaging me. You're like, do you know what just happened? I was like, yes, this is the energy of creation.
Right? Yes. And that's the power of being able to hold powerful space for one another. It's not just another business strategy conversation. It's not just another, you know what I mean? Like there's the boxy part of business, but then there's the fun, playful energetics of business. And that's one of the things that, like, that's one of your superpowers.
Oh, thank you. And I actually would have never seen that. And that's the beautiful exchange is you get to support me with seeing the things that I don't get to see and vice versa. Because when we're in our own stuff, I think this is where mentorship and community and support is so important to receive the feedback like you just gave me. So
it was so powerful, like so powerful. And I think sometimes we don't see those gifts because we're living in ourselves. We're living in our own truth and our own day-to-day and our purpose. And it's so much a part of us that we forget.
Absolutely.
But then when you feel someone else, and I felt the energy, and when you get the like goosies, you're like, ooh, there it is. There it is.
There was a lot of those.
Oh, there was so much. And that's the expansion. And that's a big part of what we want to focus on today is the energetics of making these big decisions, of making power moves, of whether it's choosing your business or your life purpose, leading with intuition, but really listening to the energetics. So what do you do? Because I know a lot of people get curious because they're like, how do you become this magical being, right? Like, how do you do these things?
What is the how behind the being?
How, right? And I think people think about that, but I want to go a step further and ask you, what is your day-to-day spiritual and personal practice like?
Yeah.
Because that sets the stage.
That sets the stage, and it's the foundation. It really is. And especially now as we move into 2025, I feel like 2024 was a year of a lot of clarity, a lot of clear outs, a lot of healing, a lot of introspection. And I feel 2025 is this like launch pad, like let's go, and
cut the fluff,
and let's go from this new energetic space, from this alignment, from this integrity, from this passion and purpose. And like, don't look back, just go in alignment because it's easy to get stuck in like the healing. I have so much to heal. And then you're in that. And yes, continue to heal and grow, but also you're here to create. Like if you have that spark within, you've been gifted it for a reason.
Exactly.
And so because I speak mostly to women in entrepreneurship, any idea that you hold has come from source, has come from God. It's not a coincidence. And so it is your responsibility to bring it forth. And if you don't, someone else will.
100%.
And that's where like the energetics and the feeling and the leading with intuition comes together because I see it as your gift meant to come through you. Yeah. And then you do it in energetic alignment.
Exactly. And this is the big part of the energetic alignment that comes through because you could do something in numerous, infinite ways to do something. And there's a way to do something that's in integrity with yourself and your higher self and the higher mission. Yeah. And then there's the space where you're flailing around trying to figure everything out, that's horrific. That's not fun. And it never works. It never works because you literally, it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall and watching what sticks and then
or seeing what others are doing and trying their strategies and comparing and you're not in their energetics. That's the old paradigm.
It is. And I think this is where a lot of people have stepped out of that over this past year.
Yes.
You and I talked a lot about this. And I think a lot of people fell into the comparing, like what they're doing, what I see working for them, that's going to work for me.
Exactly.
But if it's not in your energy alignment, it's not going to work for you. You could try it,
but it likely won't work. And it's likely not meant for you. And this is where you can go inward. So we're talking about daily habits. You know, one of the things, and I'll be honest with you, as a generator, as someone who has a lot of energy, I have resisted and rebelled against meditation for so long because it was so uncomfortable for me.
But you did so well with meditation with us at the retreat.
Girl, I'm doing it. So I have to update you. Like, it is a part of my ritual now. Because there was just no going back. Yeah. You know, I kept looking for, okay, what is this habit, this ritual, this thing for me? And so, of course, I did a lot of walking meditations. I did a lot of guided meditations. And then I started really connecting with my higher self in this space where, like, I got clarity. Like, I can hear, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I would always leave that to women like you.
Exactly.
Like, you have the gift.
Right. Yes.
But no, I hold the gift too. We all do.
100%.
And so I stopped resisting, and it's been so beautiful. And listen, I'm meditating for max 15 minutes.
No,
like,
that's great.
That's huge for me.
That's great for anybody. Even myself, I've been meditating since I was 14, and there's some days I'm like 10, 15 minutes. That's my max.
15 minutes. But this is the thing. So we're in the era now of going inward first, aligning, recalibrating, and then doing from this space.
Yes.
Because then we're doing in energetic alignment. And I often talk about, you know, the energy, the frequency in which we create something. That's what that thing we're creating, that's the energetics it holds, right? So, for example, if we're like, oh gosh, on my to-do list is I have to create a reel today. And you're like, this is something that I just need to check off the list. Well, that blah energy.
I was just going to say, what a blah energy.
What a blah energy.
I literally was thinking it.
That blah energy is infused in your real creation. That's what's received on the other side. And so people, like, that reel ain't going viral. Like, that's what's being received. And so if we can go inward first, set the stage for the day, and then, yes, you need the strategy. You need to take inspired action in order to move forward. But you have to do it with the right energetics.
Absolutely. I would agree with you. So when you meditate, is there a specific time of the day, or is it consistent, or does it change depending on the day?
It changes. And I think that's a big piece for me too, is I don't like to be restrictive.
Yeah.
Previous Anna would have a very set schedule, and this
totally
is what I had to do.
I can totally see that.
But I'll give you an example. So I was coming here on my golf cart, and I had an hour before our time to record. And I have this beautiful spot by the ocean. I call it my rock, and the rock is in front of the ocean, and that's my spot. That's where I meditate. So this is how my ritual works. I do breath work, and the breath work, and since you guys can see me here, I love to do the breath work. I don't know what it's called.
Alternating.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
So I breathe in, hold, and then breathe out with the other nostril, and then I put two fingers on my my third eye. On my third eye. So I breathe first, and that just really calms my nervous system. Then comes the meditation, and I just allow, I have a lot of thoughts like we all do, but I allow them to flow through. And I don't judge them, I witness. And then after that, I put my hand on my heart and I do gratitudes.
That's beautiful.
So gratitudes for the now and gratitudes for the desires in the present moment. And that's about 15 minutes. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
The meditation may be 5 minutes, but the whole practice,
it's part of the whole thing.
Exactly. The whole practice is about 15 minutes. And so as I was on the way here, to be honest, it's a little bit windy today.
It's very windy. And my hair was nicely twirled and curled now, between humidity and wind.
Exactly. So I know you do live. I knew we were going to be on video. So I said, you know what? Because the girls are going to mini goddesses between 4 and 5, that's when I'm going to go to the rock.
Amazing.
So flowing.
Exactly.
And flowing, especially if you're a generator and you have a lot of energy and you used to be, really type A and structured. This is really good for us. So I said, okay, I wanted to come before I came to record with you, but I'm going to go 4 to 5.
Exactly. See? So there's flexibility and flow.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite conversations because I think that Gabriel and I talk about this all the time, that life is like a river. We're like a river. And so when you have a river, you need river banks. That's the structure. But then you need to have flow or else there's no river. It's like a stale, stagnant pond, right?
Yes,
and we know
that's
it's
right.
it's like the cenotes that, you know, things start to grow in stagnant water, right?
They do. And things that you don't want growing.
No, and you don't want inside your body either,
Exactly.
right? And so we laugh at this because we were at a couple of the cenotes and Annika says, she's like, I'm not getting in that water. She's like, do you know what grows in this water? And I was like, I've never even thought about it, right? Like you don't think about it until then all of a sudden you see this big worm, this big, and I was like, and I'm thinking, do I tell Anna? Do I not tell Anna? I was like, don't tell her, she's gonna freak out.
Do you know how much work we do on parasites and we don't want those things growing within you?
Right?
Anyways.
So it's like having the freedom and the flexibility, but having some structure. And this is the thing that I loved about what you brought forth, because it was both energetic and intuitive, but very strategic and structured at the same time. And having someone else to listen to from a business perspective, that person's able to see the bird's eye view, just like we have these birds sitting outside here.
Yes.
The bird's eye view that can see everything that you may not be able to see because you're right in it. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you can hold the energetic space, I think things move faster.
They absolutely do.
It's like we know if we want to heal something, you bring in the energetics and intuition, you're going to heal faster. If you want to manifest more accurately, you bring in energy, you're going to manifest faster. It's the same thing with business. You want business ideas, you want things to grow, shift, elevate, move faster. Bring in intuition and energy.
Yes.
And it's going to move fast.
Not that I'm trying to take over your podcast,
but
I have a question for you.
No, I love that.
So yesterday I actually identified, so as I said at the beginning, you know, raised in an immigrant family. We came to Canada when I was 6 years old. No money, no language. We didn't speak English. And my parents just began working really, really hard at jobs they were totally overqualified for. So yesterday I had a money block creep up. And what I realized is I still have subconscious programming running behind the scenes. And it's frustrating because
of course it is.
It's been 15 years of doing this work. But I was going to ask you, what do you suggest for that? Because I've identified, I can see it, and I can see the programming running behind the scenes, and I can share with it, actually. So entrepreneurs for 15 years, like, there's been a lot of up and down, and there's been so much high success, and then that, like, the low. But I'm just done with the roller coaster. But I feel it comes from the money story that it might be coming back up or hasn't yet been cleared.
So one, I'm going to send you this meditation that I have. But the subconscious clearing, you have to go into the subconscious in order to clear the subconscious. So what will happen is when you hit that block for a second, but then you have the awareness, it's like the bird's eye view again. You're looking in on the subconscious and you can see it, but you can't do anything about it. It's like these birds that we're seeing out there. They're seeing everything, but they can't go and change anything. They can just see it, right? And so once it's like submersing yourself in the subconscious, and once your mind goes into the subconscious, then you can change some things. So there's this meditation. I'll tell you about it, but I'll send it to you. And if any of you are curious about it, just let us know too. But you walk into the subconscious, and where you see, and you ask the higher self, show me where this subconscious block exists, especially if you've already consciously identified it. You will see something in the landscape. Sometimes it looks like a garden and it's all mangled or it's all twisty. Sometimes it looks dark and black. Sometimes it looks barren. Sometimes it looks frozen. I've seen frozen cities in my subconscious that was like the business city, and it was just frozen. And I was like, what is this? And it was this subconscious belief that building a business is hard. Because I had that one from my parents. They built a business from the ground up. The place was falling apart. They had to rebuild. The literal ceilings were falling down on them. They rebuilt from the ground up, and it was hard. They had 3 little ones. We were all under 6. Business was hard. And I didn't even realize I had that, because I'm like, this is fun. This is joyful. This is creative. But then when it got hard, I was like, why is this so hard?
This is it. And so mine was a different hard. And this one I've really worked on the last few years, but just you have to work hard. So mine was because I witnessed my parents working hard, this was so engraved in me. And it took time to find the balance. Like I really do enjoy the work, but when it starts to feel out of alignment, that's where I pivot, shift, and step back. And so having that awareness, but I think that's what, like what you said is this awareness yesterday, I was like, oof, that's still there, is pinpointing that. And so the growth never stops. Like this is important to remember is the work is constantly happening, and this is what we signed up for.
Totally. Because it's like what you said at the beginning, even with network marketing. And I know this from network marketing businesses too. They are an opening for your personal and professional and spiritual growth. They will test you, they will grow you, they will push you, they will turn you inside out. But what a beautiful thing we do sign up for, to speed up our personal, professional, and spiritual growth.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I always say now is if you don't know if entrepreneurship is for you, like before investing, 6 figures in a startup, try network marketing. It's like the perfect testing place.
100%. I agree with you. And so with your practice, your spiritual, when you sit down with a client, what is the vibe that you start to get?
So,
like, do you pick up on things before?
I pick up on things. This is why I love Voxer so much, is because the tone of voice is so powerful, right? Like that's our blueprint. And I love walking through whatever is standing in their way or whatever is coming up or fears. So I work with startup entrepreneurs mostly. Excuse me. Jenny Bittner, I know she's watching. So she was this beautiful, she held beautiful space for me a few weeks ago. And I got insane clarity as to my positioning moving forward. And because I've been an entrepreneur in different industries, I've always wanted to serve the startup. I wanted to serve the person scaling. I wanted to serve everybody. But she asked me, she's like, who are you the one for? What are you known for? And I realized that my passion really is in startup. Like when someone holds that vision and that idea that they have been gifted, that I can support them to move that into launch and into income. So thank you, Jenny. That was so profound. Like we sat together and she's like, this is it. You're the startup strategist. And again, and I didn't see it.
Oh my God, so brilliant. It's so brilliant.
I didn't see it because I've just been so in it. And because I serve women from, different stages, but I realized that's my zone of genius.
Exactly.
And so what was the question?
No, I just love this because it's exactly that. It's like when you hone in on, it brings me back to the conversation we were just saying about the birds. When you're in your business, when you're in your life, when you're in your world, you often don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it.
And that's why it's so important to have these powerful conversations, because you get to have someone hold space for you. And then when they hold space for you, because I found this, like I could feel the energy that Anna was getting ready to hold for Gabriel and I. Days, even weeks, I would say, energetically, I could feel it. It was coming. And that's why it was so easy then to say, hey, do you have any of those spots left? Because I think I want to sit down with you and just go over a few things. And this is the thing is that I want everybody to hear is that it doesn't mean that you're not business savvy. It doesn't mean that you don't know what the F you're doing in your business. It's just sometimes you hit those roadblocks because you're so in it and you don't see what you need to see, because maybe you are trying to move it in a certain direction, or maybe you are comparing yourself to someone else. Maybe you stop listening to your intuition. Maybe you stop listening to the energetics. And that was one thing that, again, I come back to like a superpower of yours. Just that energy being held was so powerful. And that's why I was asking, like, do you consciously start to feel what the energy is, or what the message is, or what this something might be before?
No. And it's interesting. So this first of all, when you and I started chatting about that specifically, I just see your next vision and version. I can see that for you. I'm like, you have to be on those stages. You have to be on those podcasts. Like the world needs to know about you. Right? So I can already hold that space for you because I see you already there. Like that next level version being lived out. But with my clients, it's really when we start diving in. So what you're speaking of is the power sessions that I do. So 90 minutes and really diving in. But I send an initial questionnaire. But when the client comes with their first question, like that's where it starts to
The magic
unfold,
starts
and
to
I can
open.
feel it, and it never goes as planned. That's why they're never planned. I do have the questionnaire, and I know where they desire to go, but what unfolds is guided.
Yes, exactly.
And I would have never said that because I left the space, the guidance, the connecting with higher self. I would always say, well, that's for people like you, the healers.
Right. But you still have that.
We all do.
Right?
I think that's the reminders. We all have that,
Mm-hmm.
and trusting ourselves to tap into that. And the only way to tap into that is to go inward and create these sacred rituals that you spoke of. And so rather than outsourcing that, and it's not even outsourcing, it's yes, you want the guidance and the support, but also trusting your inner guidance and finding ways to cultivate that. And maybe that's where you guys come in is supporting us how to get there faster.
Exactly. And then when you have these brilliant ideas, then you get to plug into Anna's world and all of a sudden it's like the popcorn, right? The popcorn effect where all of a sudden you're like, oh, but then you know how to land it, because there's nothing worse than having these like brilliant ideas and then you don't know how to land it. You don't know how to bring it through in a really tangible way. Like we watched you guys with even the pickleball paddle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like this was a whole other idea that landed for her and her husband. And they're amazing.
Yeah, they're here.
And you know how to do this. Like she knows how to do
I love
this.
product-based business. I really do.
They're so fun because they're super creative.
Yeah.
And I think I want to touch on that a little bit for everybody, because I think sometimes people think that with entrepreneurial businesses, it's more of the service-based businesses like coaching or mentoring and things like that. But there are many product-based businesses that are a lot of fun.
So fun.
So speak into that a little bit, because I think sometimes we get capped, right? We think like, oh, I have to become a coach or I have to become a healer or a mentor or a teacher.
It's such a great question. I miss talking about product-based business. You know, I'm coming on a lot of podcasts now and talking about coaching and mentorship. But like, I love the product-based space. And you know, that's also asking yourself, what is meant to be birthed through me? And if you are more of a service-based entrepreneur or a coach or a healer, you created a product, right?
That's right.
So there's always opportunity to create new pathways, new streams through product development. And that's oftentimes where creativity just soars, right? Because now you have something that's physical, tangible, that's yours.
Yes.
And it's such a powerful feeling. Like I remember, so when we created Love Powered Co., that first order of 5,000 units that came in,
oh my God,
and
crazy.
you hold your
Right?
creation is like, it's just hard
It's
to
surreal.
describe. It's surreal.
It's like holding a baby.
Really?
Right?
Yeah, you've birthed this thing. And so with the pickleball brand, so it's interesting because this is something that's coming up for me right now. And someone asked me a couple of days ago, like, what are you guys doing with it? Because I'm uncertain of our move in terms of like location, because there's things to be figured out here and in Canada, there's a little bit of resistance to placing a large order. Because if I all of a sudden have 5,000 paddles in our rented condo in Mexico, where's my movability?
Right.
So like, and I'm coming here as a guest, but I also want to show others like we're always on this journey, right?
Exactly.
Of healing, of growing, of new perspectives, of like, we don't have it all figured out.
That's right.
And so I'll tell this story. So our husbands are obsessed with pickleball. Like obsessed. It's a next level obsession.
No, it really is. Truly.
And bless them. I mean, it's keeping them fit and healthy. It's
That's right.
amazing.
It's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah,
And
it's a great community.
It's a great community and it's brilliant. And now they were talking about going pro. I don't know if you caught that on the weekend.
Did I tell you? So I'll just share this quickly. 2 years ago, when Gabriel became obsessed with this, I had to sit down, especially last year, because it was insane. He was playing pickleball for 4 or 5 hours a day. And I said to him, you just need to tell me, babe. I'm like, are you planning to go pro with this? Because if you are, that means something very different than just playing recreationally, right?
For 4 to 5 hours a day.
Yes. And he's like, I am. And I said, okay, so I can get down with this now, right? Because that means something different.
It does mean something totally different. And now it's become this weekend they were talking about it.
I wondered what was taking, what that conversation was for an hour.
Yes, that was it. So also, a big piece here. So hubby becomes obsessed with pickleball, and then my strategic mind is like, oh, well, how do we create a business out of this?
Yes.
So I asked him, how easy is it to get paddles here in Mexico? And really, it's Amazon. It's not that easy. And so I'm like, why don't we create a brand? And this is the thing, you guys, like when you get that hit, like, ooh, that feels exciting. And it like, I felt the spark right away, found a graphic designer and right away reached out. So another aside, my husband does digital marketing for phenomenal product-based businesses, women mostly out of the GTA. And I remember one of his clients during the pandemic created a brand called Palm, P-A-U-M-M-E. And she made hand sanitizers sexy.
Oh.
Like the branding is on point.
God.
Sorry, P-A-U-M-E. The sexiest branding I have ever seen, and I love branding. Like I love a good brand,
right? It's so fun.
And I said, Yvonne, next time we create a product-based business, I want to work with the designer who created Palm's branding. So when this pickleball idea came through of doing products, I said, we need to reach out to Hannah, who's Palm's branding girl out of New York City.
Amazing.
So we worked with Hannah. We actually she's still doing revisions right now. And basically we got to work. And this is the thing, getting the intuitive hits, getting like, for me, it's that sacral response. I'm a sacral generator and feeling it and then taking that inspired action because so many people just sit with the idea.
That's right.
They
and
sit
do nothing.
and do nothing. And so for me, that's one thing is like, there's always some sort of action if it's in alignment. Like, and we, you know, this is cultivating that inner work is knowing when it is.
Right.
So reached out to Hannah, started working with Hannah last March. And one thing that I really desired for this product-based business, and it's not launched, you guys, and I'm speaking as if it is, but
this is good manifestation.
It's great manifestation. Actually, I'll put it out there. We're looking for an investor right now.
Awesome.
So the holdback of having a lot of inventory here in a rental is one.
That's right.
And then I'm putting it out there seeking an investor. But we got to work and I wanted to tie in Love Powered Co. with the pickleball brand. So our flagship paddle has affirmations on it.
And this is what I loved. When I saw the design, because Anna's been sharing a little bit too, like even the name and the color is like, oh my gosh, like it gives me chills. Even to see the affirmations.
I had to tie it in, right? Like that's what Love Powered Co. was an affirmation company. And it's this like continuation of a brand and evolution. And so our flagship paddle has affirmations on it. And so basically we had the branding done, then we had the paddle designs done, and then we placed an order for samples with the manufacturer. So we received the samples and now we're going through second revisions before placing another sample order. And then basically it's website, inventory, and
marketing,
launch.
Go.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying, like, do you see the story and the through line, like the thread, how it connects? Because there's still Anna in all of it. And then there's her husband, right? There's the love of both of these worlds coming together of business and branding and ideas and affirmation, but then the sports and the love for that and all coming together. You guys, you can create anything.
Come on. Like I would have starting as an entrepreneur, I'm going to launch a pickleball brand. Like, what is pickleball? There's just no way of prediction. But when it comes through you, it's for a reason. Like, take that next, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it was connecting with the branding expert to bring it to life.
It. And how important has it been for you along this journey to really follow your intuition?
Like the most important. And of course that this hasn't been the story over the last 15 years. It was growing into that because also, early onset of entrepreneurship was the hustle culture.
That's right.
It was working hard. It was really masculine energy. And even though I still I hold a very masculine energy, there's balance.
That's right.
I've
seen your feminine flow.
Yeah, girl.
I've seen her grooving on the beach, your feminine flow.
and it's finding our own balance. And that's something else that I resisted. Now, I say resisted a lot because I'm a rebel of the status quo. I don't like people telling me what to do.
Right.
And when I see something out there, I take it and then I analyze it and what does it feel like and look like for me? And so when we first came into this conversation of feminine and masculine energetics, I was like, I don't want to take a bath in the middle of the day. I was like, what? It's not for me. And that's how it was portrayed, early onset of feminine energetics. And it didn't make sense to me. Right. So I took it. And then really it was when everything I knew stopped working.
Right.
That was the transition into looking at, well, what does it look like for me?
Yes.
How am I going to live this? And no, I still don't take, first of all, we don't have a bathtub.
Yeah, no, very few places do. Very few places like the rooftop pool is like our bath. It's not warm, but it's our outside bath.
It's like a cold plunge. I love it. Right? So it's taking these things that we see externally and looking at it and connecting with it and seeing like, well, what is my definition of this? Right?
That's right. And I think that that's important for everyone. You make your own from that. So you can take the tools and the teachings and intuition and even the feminine and masculine and you bring it to yourself to see what flows and what feels good for you.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like you've done that really, really beautifully. Yeah, like really beautifully. And just even working with you, and I know you personally, I know your kids, I know your family, you know, we've hung out, we've done like many, many things together. And then also from a business perspective, right? So let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on because she's got this amazing thing coming up that I need y'all to know about.
Thank you.
Let's tell everybody about it.
So I'm in the process of rebranding me as the startup strategist and really moving entrepreneurs who have that idea into income within 12 weeks.
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing. That's powerful.
It's powerful. And I'm so excited for the businesses that are meant to come through you, through everyone out there listening. And I'm launching, so basically going off the startup strategist, which feels so good.
It sounds good, feels good.
My big vision for this year is the startup agency. So the way that I envision the agency is having all of the partners in place. So from intuitive healers to support really from that energetics mastery to photographers to brand strategists to web developers, and so it being really a one-stop shop.
I love that.
And because collaboration and connection, like I have the line 6 in human design, which is about the network, and so I want to bring in the collective to support the right entrepreneurs who, you know, are ready for investment, because this isn't just we're not launching hobby businesses. And to really be a one-stop shop. So that's the vision for this year.
Amazing.
And then the Startup Collective I'm launching in February. And this is for women who have launched and now they're kind of looking around and they've lost momentum. Maybe they're no longer working with their coach. Maybe they have been stopping and going and stopping and going in this cycle to really create this beautiful mastermind of women in that early onset of entrepreneurship. And to support them with the strategy, with the mindset, with the guest experts, with the energetics, to really hold them in this beautiful energy of momentum that feels good.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's so important. I can attest to that, because when you have an idea, whether it's a new product, a new service, a new program, or if you're starting your business early, it can feel really overwhelming because there's so much information out there. And a lot of people get confused as to what to do first, what not to do, what's important, what's not important. And then the swirl begins, and then sometimes the swirl can freeze you, and then nothing happens. And it's kind of like what you said at the beginning, that ideas will come down. And when they do, they come down for many. Seeds will spread themselves out around the collective. And whoever puts their hand up and says, I will be the one to do this,
right,
is the one that then takes the charge, takes the lead, makes it happen. And so I guess my question, and maybe your question, would be, will you be one of those people that actually says yes to that divine energy and idea that came down and actualize it, like actually do something with it now? Because I think we're, like you said, we're in a very powerful time where we're cutting the fluff, we're putting all the distractions aside, we're stepping out of the comparison, we're coming back to ourselves, back to our truth, back to our energetics, back to our intuition, and then you start to feel it again. You feel the buzz, and you're like, okay, I really want this. Like, I really want to do this. And know that anything's possible, right? Like, look at what you guys have created.
Literally.
Like anything's possible. Any idea is not too far-fetched. Every dream, every idea you have, there's so much energy behind you. It's just sometimes you need someone in your corner to help support you, to guide you, and then to help you cut the fluff too, so that you're not getting distracted and then nothing happens.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing a lot is, you know, and I don't want to label, but a lot of Manny Gens, they're brilliant with ideas. Same with manifestors, but they're in this idea portal, this
100%.
idea vortex. And then there's so many
100%.
ideas.
I'm a manifestor.
Like,
I get it.
And it's like, well, what am like, and then you get stuck because there's just too much.
There's so many ideas.
Having that support system to just then you can have and you can action many ideas, but there needs to be clarity.
I agree with you.
And some sort of, something to the madness, however we call it.
I agree with you because it gets overwhelming. I have idea books. This book here is filled with ideas. There's so many, right? And so you got to take action. You got to move on something, right?
Yeah.
So anything else that you want to add before we wrap up today?
Such a beautiful conversation. I think just that iteration of, if you're holding an idea, it's yours for a reason.
Yes.
Like trust that. And just like you beautifully explained, like so many people probably receiving very similar ideas, but it's the one that raises their hand and takes the next action step. Like that's powerful.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
So go for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna. I'm
Thank
so
you,
happy
Anna.
we did this. We'll have to do this again. I feel like there were so many ideas that were popping. So I'm like, I will hold those for another conversation. We'd love to have you back again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And what's the best way that people can find out more about this beautiful 12-week and then the rolling, ongoing pieces? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Instagram. So _Anna Lozano, and then my website's annalozano.com.
Perfect. And I'll put all the links below the show notes, and I'll tag you in all the places so people can find you. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. It's such a pleasure. We're sending you so much love and clarity and goodness. May you find your inner truth. May you reconnect to the divine purpose that you are here for, and then may you take the step that's needed to make all these things happen. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!